You're listening to the e-commerce edition of Hello Moxie with Nicole Donnelly. In each episode, we speak with leaders in the e-commerce industry on promoting diversity in the tech sector, the latest e-commerce trends, and how B2B brands can innovate through e-commerce. Hello Moxie is sponsored by DMG Digital, a woman-owned marketing consultancy dedicated to helping B2B companies create exceptional customer experiences.
Hello and welcome back. I am so excited. I have been waiting to interview Thien-Lan since last night, all day. Even before I came to this conference, I was like, I want to interview her. So thank you so much for coming on the show. First of all, love to have you choose your team.
Oh, yes.
Do you need some positive energy? Do you need some stress relief? What's your mood today?
Maybe. Energy would be great because there's an after party.
Yes.
And
the after party is so great. It's poolside. It's got Robbie does a fantastic job by the pool. It's amazing. So, Thien-Lan, how are you doing? What's
great.
new with you? What's
you.
lighting you up lately? What are you most excited about the conference or just in general? What are you excited about?
yeah, I'm very excited about this conference. My first time was last year, and it's
Same.
yeah. And I just love the venue, the weather. It has that Imagine feel.
That's what I've heard. I've never been to
Yeah.
Imagine, but I've heard that's the case.
And and our partners are very happy. They get lots of leads, lots of merchants are here, lots of case studies. So very happy about this event and
Yeah, I love
to
that.
be back.
Yeah, it's always great to come to Florida in the middle of February, right? Escape the cold. So tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and tell us about Huba. Huba is such an exciting, wonderful, innovative product. Tell us about what you're doing and about you and your life. I know you have some really cool hobbies. She's a fantastic musician, by the way.
Spoiler.
So, spoiler alert. So yeah, tell our listeners about you.
Yes, I'm Thien-Lan Weber, and I'm French-born Vietnamese. I've been working for 25 years already in lots of different countries and markets. So I was born and bred in Paris, and then I moved to Australia, moved back to Europe, spent some time in Switzerland, in Norway, and now back in France, on the south coast. Similar weather to here, so that's pretty cool.
Beautiful, yes.
Yeah, I've been in the Magento community since 2016. And before that, I was already in e-commerce. I worked for eBay and PayPal in Australia. And before that, I had 7 years more in offline, in retail and consumer goods. So I kind of understand the challenges of brand manufacturers and retailers.
Yeah, absolutely. Such deep experience that you have in e-commerce and in the tech space. And I'd love to hear from you as a woman in this space. It can be very male dominated, right? In e-commerce and in tech. What advice would you give to women who may be considering a career in e-commerce?
Yeah,
Or maybe not even considering a career?
exactly. So that's my point.
Yeah.
So I'm mentoring a couple of teenage girls. So basically, a lot of my friends have teenage girls, and they are looking at career options. A lot of them are attracted by fashion, cosmetics, and I used to work in fashion and cosmetics. And let me tell you, the culture is not as friendly, collaborative, or inclusive.
Interesting.
And so what I tell them is that you'll feel very comfortable and you'll have a lot of flexibility if you work in e-commerce. So some, they love organizing events and they want to organize music festivals and so on. But it's a very harsh industry and it's really draining. And I said you could organize events like in e-commerce or work for a payment provider and do amazing booths at NRF, and you feel more rewarded because the company cultures in tech is a lot more, so work-life balance is more important. It allows flexibility, mental health. They're more progressive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's what I've heard from several women is that in the tech space, there is so much flexibility, which is women is so, so important because this idea of a 9 to 5 is pretty antiquated, right? Industrial revolution. So I love that in the tech space, women do have a lot of the flexibility to work remotely, work, modified hours, and all of that is so special. And I think that's such a really innovative way to kind of like teach these younger women that, look, when you think about being in the tech space, there's not just one pathway. It doesn't mean that you necessarily need to be a developer.
Exactly.
Right? There's a lot of other job opportunities that you can pursue that may be more in line with what your natural talents or gifts are, that you can consider. So I think that's really cool. Yeah. So I'd love to learn more too about, men being allies in the tech space. I've heard some wonderful stories, and I've experienced personally men in this, especially in this Magento community, really stepping up and doing wonderful things to support women. So I'd love to hear if you have advice or stories of experiences where men have been allies, and then what challenges do you think are still present that we should be thinking about, or that men should be thinking about? Yeah.
So I'll be very cheesy, and my biggest ally is my husband.
Oh, love that.
So he cooks, he does the laundry, he looks after the kids.
He does the laundry?
Yeah. So when I'm away for a week, it's easy for him. He does everything, and I don't feel guilty at all. And he's checking in, are you having fun, and how's it going? When he goes, I'm like struggling. I'm like, I have to do the school runs, and because he does those. So when we are both at home, he does the school runs, and he does most of the things. And when he's not there, I'm like, I have to do all that.
So he cooks, he does the laundry, and he does the school runs.
Yes.
And he does it, and you don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So
incredible.
so he's been supporting me a lot, and that helps.
It helps tremendously.
Yeah.
When you have a good partner to support you in that way, it makes such a huge difference. I can relate to that. My husband is the same. He does the laundry, and he's so great. Like, he gets up in the morning and helps get kids ready too. And it's just such a great support that he, and even like, he like checks in with me. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great time. How did the workshop go? Like, he's just so supportive and wants to see me shine. And I'm sure your husband is the same.
Yeah.
So I think that's great advice. It's like, just any opportunity, men, if you have wives, what can you do to support them with some of the like manual labor, the caretaking, and those kinds of things?
So I have a funny story. So I'm organizing an agency dinner in Berlin, in Germany. And there was one lady who I wanted to invite, and she's a Magento master and so on. And so first I asked the agency owner, and he couldn't make it. I said, can we invite her? And he said, she's got a young child, and I'm not sure it will be possible. And I said, maybe her husband could babysit. And then he said, I'll ask her. And next thing was her emailing saying, my husband gave me the green light, I'm coming.
Love that, right?
So, as a man, don't assume, and just make it happen, and encourage husbands to help. And
yes, that's how change happens.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love that. Do you see, like, being in the space, what are the challenges that are still present that you think needs to change, or that you think would be important for women to focus on, just men to focus on? What do you think is there that's still kind of a barrier?
So what we spoke about yesterday at a Women in E-commerce event was lack of confidence.
Yes.
So it's not so much the men, it's the women themselves. They are their worst enemy. And they're like, I'm not going on stage. I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. And so we need to help that. We hear a lot about imposter syndrome.
Yes.
So within my team, we've been, trying to combat that. So one of the tips is we run the Clifton Strengths Finder.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
What are your Strengths Finder? I want to know yours. Ooh, okay. I'm going to guess strategic.
Not in the top 5.
Not in the top 5. Okay. Achiever.
That would be the rest of the team. Not my.
Ooh, man. Analytical. Is that one of them?
No.
Shoot, I'm failing.
More superficial than that.
Positivity.
Yeah.
I am too. That's so cool. Okay,
Yeah.
So positivity. What else?
Yeah. Communication.
Okay, nope, I
Obviously.
don't have that one yet.
Woo.
I have woo too.
Yeah. I'm not
Positivity
surprised.
and woo.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then my last 2 change. So I've been doing this maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
And now it's more maximizer and learner.
Oh, very nice.
But it used to be, so in my the beginning of my career, it was more activator and arranger.
Okay.
And after I had kids, was more harmony. So it kind of
shifted
changes.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful. So I love that. And just for listeners, on the Strengths Finder is a Gallup, right? It's a Gallup tool And it's a kind of a survey that you take that helps you identify what are your 5 core strengths. So rather than focusing on building your, strengthening your weaknesses, the concept is how can you identify what your strengths are and really lean into those. And so through this tool, you can identify your top 5 strengths.
Yeah.
And so you were saying that you have the women on your team take this. And what have you noticed?
Everyone is taking this.
Everyone takes it. Yeah.
And so what's very interesting is that those strengths are natural abilities you were born with.
Yeah.
So for example, positivity is when you see the glass half full and not half empty. And I thought everyone was like that. And then I realized, not everyone is like that, but it's so easy for me. And then you read that, it motivates everyone, and you come and you say hello and so on. I'm like, that's what I do. Like, it's what people do. And you realize, no.
Everybody thinks
so everyone has those strengths that they were born with, that they do naturally without even knowing it, and without, spending energy. They gain energy by doing that. And so by knowing that those are strengths, you gain confidence, because it's not something you acquired, not something you learned. You were born with this. So you'll never lose them. So based on that, men, women can build confidence and then build on that in their roles.
I love
and
that.
Also understand that some things they're not very good at. So some are introverts. They don't like to, go to events and speak to people. That's fine. I'm here to do that. Sana is here to do that.
Exactly.
But then you are analytical, or you have input, which is like collecting lots of things. Why don't you help us do benchmarks?
Yes. So true. I have someone I work on the team with. She's fantastic. She's like the yin to my yang. Everything I suck at, she's fantastic at. Like operations, getting the details done. I start a project and she just finishes it and she like knocks it out of the park.
That's
right?
Perfect.
And it's so important to have those complementary skills when you're working on a team. And what a beautiful way to really help the women on your team also gain that confidence so that they can feel comfortable to speak up. Because imposter syndrome, you're right. And I will tell you, I was literally just talking to Paul about this literally before you came over. I was like, I will go up to the women and ask them to come be on the podcast. And they shrink and they hesitate and they say they don't want to do it. But I will ask the men, and they don't even hesitate. And they come and they sit and they're fine to do it.
Typical.
And I think to myself, like the women that I ask, I'm asking them because I know that they are deeply competent and I've seen them, and I know that they have so much value to offer. And so I think that's really important. Like you mentioned that sometimes we're our own worst enemy as women. And so it's important for us to see the possibilities and have the confidence to just step in, you know? So that's really wonderful advice. We just need more women speaking up, right? We just do. So I would love to know, who is a woman in history that you love that's really inspired you?
So to be honest, I didn't really have any.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
You asked the questions and I prepared because that's the type of person I am. And so I thought, maybe Sheryl Sandberg is one. So she's not in history, but she's in tech history. Yeah. And I feel that, she's very confident. She doesn't have that imposter syndrome. She's more senior person with a lot of corporate experience, stepping into Facebook. So a startup with a lot of potential. So that's how I feel I am with Hiva right now. And also, she uses that confidence to help other women. So, and then she also shared a lot of vulnerabilities and all the,
I love that.
Like life events that happened to her and Plan B and so on. But I really admire her. And
and I can see a lot of similarities to her path and your path. Like you, in many ways, have really shined and excelled in the corporate world the way that she has, which is incredible. And such a, we've talked about a lot, if you can see it, you can be it. And I think you really represent that very, very well. Like you're such a leader in the Magento community. I've seen across the board how much respect everyone has for you and the work that you're doing. And it's really, really cool to see.
So that's the other thing. Women can't take compliments, right?
That's true. But anyway, I just had to say, I've noticed that, how respected you are. And I think it's so great for other women to see that in you, because they can stand on your shoulders, on the people on your team. So thank you.
Thank you.
Such a wonderful role model.
Aww.
And what are your 5 strengths again? Let's see. You said positivity and woo, which we both share.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo. I'm so jazzed that I share 2 strengths with you. That's lights my whole, I'm all lit up by that. And then maximizer, you said, learner and maximizer.
Yeah.
And then the other one was it harmony?
Communication.
Communication. Yes, very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a pleasure.
Thank
Do you
you for
have
having
any
me.
final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
No, just be confident, enjoy everything that happens to you in life, and yeah.
Oh, enjoy everything that happens to you in life. What wise words from someone whose strength is positivity, right?
Exactly.
Like, I think that's great. We're all going to have bad days and bad times in our lives, but it's so important to we've got someone behind our video camera right here who's just anyway. I forgot what my thought was, but anyway, thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
and I hope you
you.
enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yeah, I will.
And I will see you poolside. We'll share a drink.
I'm at the club.
I will be at the club tonight. I will be there this
Love
year.
dancing.
Yes,
Love
I will
music.
I will be dancing with you. So let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Hello Moxie e-commerce edition. Thanks for joining us as we bring you the latest news in the e-commerce industry and celebrate diversity and innovation in the tech sector.